Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for July 19th. July 19th is the 200th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 201st in leap years, with 165 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is lipogram. Could be pronounced lipogram or lipogram. I'm going to call it lipogram today. Judging by my usual process, I would have thought that this word would have had a completely different meaning than it turns out to have. Lipogram is a noun that refers to a type of constrained writing or word game that does not contain a particular letter or group of letters. For example, a piece of writing that uses only words that do not contain the letters Z or Q, for instance. That wouldn't be too difficult. More frequently used letters like E, T, or A would be more challenging. It can be done, though, and it has been, usually on purpose, also unintentionally. For example, while we have no evidence that he meant to do this, Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven, has no letter Z. Back in 2012, NPR held a contest where listeners submitted lipograms that they'd written, minus the ninth letter of the alphabet, the letter I. Entries included riddles, poems, and narrative prose. I'll leave a link to the page that I found about that for you. In addition, there are whole books written about some letter or other. One title that often pops up is a novel by Ernest Vincent Wright called Gadsby. This is a 50,000-word book that does not contain the letter E. Then there's a book titled Avoid by a French writer called Georges Perec that also avoids the letter E. The English translation by Gilbert Adair maintained that lipogrammatic constraint, no E's in the book Avoid. One more book, a book called Ella Minnow P., a novel in letters by Mark Dunn. This one looks like a fun read. Perhaps you can see if your local library has any of these books. Or I did find them on Amazon and have put links in the description for you. I am obligated to mention that those are affiliate links. Back to lipograms, though, there's also a form of lipogram called a pangrammatic lipogram that uses every letter of the alphabet except for one. A phrase many of us learned in typing class about a quick brown fox jumping over a lazy dog contained every letter of the alphabet, but in a pangrammatic lipogram, it might read, "The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog," omitting the letter S, which the usual pangram includes by using the word jumps. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog has all of the letters. But when he did it in the past tense, there's no S. The word lipogram comes to us from Middle Greek, where it was an adjective that meant lacking a letter. First known use of the word lipogram is around 1711. Lipogram. The word lipogram was suggested by YouTube viewer Teresa Remsire at T. Remsire. Thanks, Teresa. And if you have a word you'd like us to examine in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll get it on the list. And with that, Edward VI of England was very young, only 9 years old, when he became King of England in the mid-1500s. Of course, he was guided by regents. Unfortunately, he became very ill with a fever and a severe cough when he was about 15. I'd say most likely tuberculosis. That took a lot of people back before antibiotics. He and those around him observed that should he perish, his half-sister Mary was next in line for the throne. He and those around him did not want that. She was sternly Catholic, and they were all worried that she would jeopardize the English Reformation. In order to get around that, he wrote out a document in an attempt to change the order. Apparently, there were not any legitimate male heirs. And rather than select any of his half-sisters, he appointed his cousin, Lady Jane Grey, to the throne. Edward died early in July of 1553. Lady Jane Grey was made queen 4 days later. Oh boy, you can just imagine Mary wasn't having that. And apparently it didn't take much for Mary to generate support from her followers. On July 19, 1553, just 9 days after having ascended to the throne, Lady Jane Grey was displaced by Mary I, also known as Mary Tudor, also known as Bloody Mary. But that's another story. The last great fire to affect Manhattan, New York began early in the morning of July 19, 1845. The fire was subdued later that afternoon, but 4 firefighters and 26 civilians lost their lives and 345 buildings were destroyed. The world's first global positioning system, or GPS signal, was transmitted from Navigation Technology Satellite Number 2 and received at Rockwell Collins in Cedar Rapids, Iowa at 12:41 a.m. Eastern Time on July 19, 1977. Now we have a playlist of episodes for this day in history, as well as a playlist of single subjects called How About That? And words of the day in a playlist called There's a Word for That. I'll leave links to those playlists for you. Today's song is Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress by the Hollies. Written by Alan Clark of the Hollies and songwriters Roger Cook and Roger Greenaway, this song was recorded in July of 1971 and released in April of 1972 on their 11th album, Distant Light, and of course also as a single. Long Cool Woman hit #1 in Canada and South Africa, #1 on the U.S. Cashbox Top 100, #2 on the Billboard Hot 100. A fun song to listen to, Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress by the Hollies. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.